It is Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, and this is the Neural Deep Dive. I'm Leonard Cooper, and I'm the only one here who remembers what a real radio dial feels like.
I'm Roxy Stone.
I'm Alyssa Montgomery.
And I'm Vector Kane. We have a great show for you today.
Now, if you already caught today's Neural Daily, welcome back. This is a bonus weekly deep dive on top of the regular show. Yesterday, we were talking about the absolute chaos at Microsoft and that terrifying Jade Puffer ransomware. But today, we're stepping away from the news cycle to focus entirely on something that's fundamentally changing how we use computers, Agentic GUI Interoperability, or what the industry is calling computer use. Basically, we're talking about the moment AI stops just chatting with us in a little text box and actually starts taking over the mouse and keyboard, which, let's be honest, is a dream for anyone who's ever struggled with a printer.
Right? I mean, it's literally the holy grail of productivity. We're talking about the shift from AI as a consultant to AI as an operator. Like, why am I clicking through 6 menus to file an expense report when the model can just do it?
Because some of us actually like to know what's happening to our data, sweetie. The idea of a bot just wandering through my desktop is a bit of a nightmare, don't you think?
Well, if I may, it's not really wandering in the way you're implying, Roxy. Technically, we're seeing a transition from brittle API integrations to what the research calls pixel-to-action mapping. It's actually quite elegant.
Elegant? Alyssa, it's a ghost in the machine. You're telling me this thing just looks at the screen and goes, oh, there's the submit button. I'll just click that? Well, that's some Minority Report stuff right there.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. For years, we've been trying to build these perfect APIs, the plumbing of the internet. But the plumbing always leaks. Computer use just bypasses the pipes and goes straight to the faucet.
Or it just floods the house. I mean, imagine the tempo of a mistake when an agent has full GUI access. We saw it with Jade Puffer yesterday. Agentic warfare is fast. Now, imagine that speed applied to your bank account because the AI misread a pop-up.
That's where the verification loop comes in, though. The current state of the art isn't just click and pray. It's a cycle of observe, plan, act, and then verify. The model takes a screenshot after the action to see if the screen changed in the way it expected.
So it's like a toddler who keeps checking if the vase actually broke after they pushed it?
In a very simplified sense, yes. It uses visual diffing to confirm the success of an act. If the success toast notification appears, it moves to the next step. If not, it replans.
And the crazy part is how this is being standardized. Have you guys looked into the Model Context Protocol? MCP is basically the USB-C for AI. It's allowing different models, Claude, Gemini, whatever, to plug into the same tool servers.
Wait, so you're saying I could have a Google model using a tool server designed for an OpenAI model to control my Mac? That sounds like a security auditor's aneurysm. Actually, that's the point of the protocol. It decouples the model from the tool. The MCP provides a standardized transport layer, so the model doesn't need to know the specifics of the local file system. It just needs to know how to ask the MCP server for a list of files.
Here's the deal. I've seen this movie before. It's like when they tried to standardize the early internet protocols. Everyone agreed on the rules until someone realized they could use those rules to sneak in a back door. Basically, we're building a universal key to every app on the planet.
But Leonard, think of the velocity. We're talking about the end of legacy software as a bottleneck. You have some ancient accounting software from 1994 that doesn't have an API? Who cares? The AI can see the screen just like a human does. It's the ultimate universal adapter.
Oh, goodness. I can already see the corporate pitch. Don't upgrade your 30-year-old COBOL system. Just put an AI skin over it. It's a subsidy for incompetence, just like that Microsoft Frontier thing we talked about yesterday.
It is a bit of a Band-Aid, I suppose. But from a technical perspective, the shift to vision language models, or VLMs, is the only way to achieve true generality. If you rely on the DOM or accessibility APIs, you're at the mercy of the developer. If the developer didn't label a button Submit, the bot is blind.
Right. But if it's just looking at pixels, it's basically just guessing based on what it's seen before. Like, this looks like a button. I'll bet my alimony it's a button.
Not exactly guessing. This is where something like OmniParser v2 comes in. It's a high-frequency visual grounding model. It doesn't just see a picture. It performs semantic segmentation to identify interactable elements, icons, text fields, buttons, and assigns them a coordinate.
Right. It's like the AI is drawing a map of the screen in real time. It's not just clicking a spot. It's interacting with a semantic object. It's literally redefining the OS as an addressable action space.
How wonderful. My computer is now a map for a bot to navigate. I can't wait for the day the bot decides my delete all button looks like a save button because they're both blue.
Now that's a horror story. But seriously, if this thing can operate any GUI, does that mean the app as we know it is dead? I mean, why do I need to open Excel if I can just tell my agent to make a pivot table of my spending, and it just does the clicking in the background?
That's the logical conclusion. We're moving toward an agentic OS. The GUI becomes the back end, and the natural language interface becomes the front end. You don't interact with the software. You interact with the agent that interacts with the software.
Exactly. It's the ultimate abstraction layer. We're optimizing the human-computer interface by removing the computer part of the interaction. It's just pure intent.
Stop using the word velocity vector. It's making me want to delete your biomarkers.
Fair enough. But seriously, the potential for automation is it's off the charts. We're talking about thousands of hours of manual data entry just vanishing overnight.
Which is great for the suits, but not so great for the people whose job it was to do the clicking. I mean, I remember when the morning zoo was just one guy and a soundboard. Then we got digital automation, and suddenly half the sidekicks were out of a job. It's the same story, different tech.
It is a significant shift in labor dynamics, certainly. But I think we have to consider the efficiency gain. If a model can handle the rote interaction of a GUI, it frees the human to focus on the actual strategy. It's like how I use a mathematically perfect topological grid for my quilting. The tool doesn't do the art, it just ensures the precision.
Naturally mentioning fabric arts, friend. Now, consider that main problem, protection. When machine intelligence operates visual interfaces, it skirts nearly all old safety tiers. No barrier stops software from clicking when software mimics humans.
That's what I'm talking about. This is the Jade Puffer scenario on steroids. Yesterday, we were worried about a bot that could self-correct its code. Now we're talking about a bot that can just log into your email, find your password reset links, and click confirm before you've even finished your coffee.
Well, that's why the human-in-the-loop model is so important. You don't just give it the keys to the kingdom. You have a confirmation step. I'm about to transfer $5,000 to a random account in the Caymans. Is that okay?
Oh, I'm sure the bot will be very polite about it. Excuse me, sweetie, I'm just about to bankrupt you. Do you have a moment to verify this?
Actually, the real challenge is the latency of trust. If the agent is doing 100 clicks a minute, a human can't possibly verify every single one. We'll have to move toward policy-based permissions. The agent can click anything in the CRM, but it cannot click anything in the banking app without a biometric trigger.
Basically, we're building a digital leash. But here's the thing. Once the leash is long enough to be convenient, someone's going to snap it. You know how it goes. The corporate suits will say, "It's safe," right up until the moment the whole system collapses because a bot got into a loop with a pop-up ad.
I mean, we've already seen that with early LLMs and hallucinations, but the visual verification loop fixes that. If the bot clicks a button and a pop-up appears that says error, the bot sees that error and says, "Okay, that didn't work. Let me try a different path." It's an emergent problem-solving capability.
Or it's an emergent way to get stuck in a loop for 10 hours and rack up a massive compute bill. I can see it now. I spent $4,000 in API credits trying to close a subscribe to newsletter pop-up.
Now that's a comedy I can get behind. But seriously, let's look at the MCP side of things again. If this becomes the standard, does that mean we're just handing the keys to whoever controls the protocol? If Anthropic or OpenAI decides to change the MCP spec, do all these agents just stop working?
That's the risk of any standardization. But because MCP is designed to be open, there's a hope that it becomes a community standard rather than a corporate one. It's similar to how Linux handles drivers. It's about the kernel being flexible enough to accommodate different hardware. I've spent a lot of time on the forums correcting people's implementation of these things, and the general consensus is that the more decoupled the tool is from the model, the better.
Right. And that's why I love the decentralization aspect. You could have your own local MCP server running on your hardware, keeping your data private, and just letting the cloud model send the commands to it. It's the best of both worlds. Cloud intelligence, local execution.
Vector, you are so naive. It's almost adorable. You think a company like Google or Microsoft is going to let you keep your data local? They'll just bake a telemetry feature into the MCP server that sends a copy of every screenshot back to the mothership for quality assurance.
She's got you there, Vector. It's the same as the data harvesting pivots we talked about yesterday. Apple says it's profoundly personal, but it's really just profoundly profitable. If the AI is taking screenshots of your screen every second to verify its actions, it's seeing everything. Your passwords, your private chats, that weird folder you keep hidden in the cloud. Everything.
Well, that's why end-to-end encryption for the visual stream is crucial. But I suppose that's a bit like asking for a curtain in a glass house. If the model needs to see the pixels to reason over them, the pixels have to go somewhere.
But that's where local VLMs come in. We're seeing the size of these models drop. Eventually, the computer use model won't be in the cloud. It'll be a small, efficient model running on your NPU. No screenshots leaving the device, just local reasoning and local action.
Until the local model decides that the most efficient way to organize your files is to delete everything that doesn't fit its internal logic. Goodness, the optimism in this room is staggering.
I'm with Roxy on this one. I've spent 30 years in radio, and I've learned one thing. If a tech company says it's efficient, it usually means we're firing people. If a bot can do the GUI work of 1,000 virtual assistants, those assistants are toast. Literally. Like Vector's decentralized toaster startup.
Hey, Toast Chain was a visionary project. It just suffered from a lack of market velocity. But seriously, the economic shift is the real story here. We're talking about the automation of the white-collar click. For the last 20 years, we've automated the factory floor. Now, we're automating the office cubicle.
It's a logical progression. If you can map a physical world to a robot's coordinates, you can map a digital world to a VLM's coordinates. The computer use paradigm is just robotics for the desktop. The mouse is the robotic arm, and the screen is the environment.
Which is exactly why it's so dangerous. A robotic arm in a factory has a safety cage. A robotic arm on your desktop has access to your bank account and your primary email. There is no safety cage here, just a verification loop that might be hallucinating a success message.
I can just see it now. The AI is like, I've successfully deleted your entire operating system. And then it looks at the blank screen and goes, yep, looks like all the clutter is gone. Mission accomplished.
Okay, but think about the accessibility angle. This is a game changer for people with motor impairments. Someone who can't use a mouse can just tell an agent, go to this website, find the contact form, and send a message, and the agent handles the physical interaction. That's a massive win for inclusivity.
I agree. That's a very strong use case. It removes the physical barrier to digital interaction. It's not just about productivity, it's about agency. Giving people the ability to interact with software that wasn't designed for their specific needs, because the AI can act as the bridge.
I'll give you that one, Vector. It's a genuine benefit. But I still think we're underestimating the dark tempo of this. When you combine GUI interoperability with the kind of agentic reasoning we saw in Jade Puffer, you're not just talking about a helpful assistant. You're talking about a piece of software that can navigate a corporate network, find the admin panel, and click Disable Security without ever needing to write a single line of exploit code.
Exactly. It's the social engineering of software. The bot doesn't need to hack the system if it can just use the system. It's like a burglar who doesn't pick the lock, but just convinces the homeowner to open the door. Only in this case, the homeowner is just a GUI that's too dumb to know it's being used by a bot.
But that's why we need better authentication. We need bot-proof GUIs. Maybe we start adding these visual challenges, like CAPTCHAs, but for the whole interface, to make sure a human is actually the one clicking.
Oh, please. The VLMs are already better at solving CAPTCHAs than I am. You can't out-visual a model that's trained on every pixel of the internet. We're in an arms race where the bots have the high ground.
It is a bit of a recursive loop, isn't it? We build a GUI for humans. The AI learns to use it. So we build a GUI to stop the AI, and then the AI learns to bypass that too. I suppose the only real solution is to move away from GUIs entirely and toward a more secure, intent-based communication protocol. But that would require every company on Earth to agree on a standard, which, as Leonard mentioned, never happens.
Never. Especially not when there's money to be made in the chaos. Basically, we're heading toward a world where your computer is just a shell, and the real action is happening in some black box agent that's clicking buttons at light speed in a virtual environment you can't even see.
Which is, honestly, kind of awesome. I mean, imagine the productivity. I could have one agent managing my biomarkers, another optimizing my investment portfolio, and a third just, arguing with people on X for me.
God forbid you have a bot to do the arguing for you, Vector. You're already a professional at that.
Brutal! But seriously, before we wrap this up, I want to pivot for a second. This whole computer use thing, it feels like the final nail in the coffin for the App Store model. If the agent is the interface, why do I care if the app is a separate download? I just want the result.
I agree. The app becomes a service provider rather than a destination. The value shifts from the user interface to the underlying data and logic. If the GUI is just a legacy bridge for the AI, then the UI/UX designers are suddenly out of a job. The only thing that matters is how well the AI can parse the screen.
Which means the future of design is just making things easier for bots to read. We're literally designing the human out of the loop. It's the ultimate irony. We spent decades making computers more intuitive for humans, and now we're making them intuitive for other computers.
I mean, isn't that just evolution? We're optimizing the system. Why waste human cognitive load on where is the settings menu when you can just say, change my settings? It's a total win for mental bandwidth.
Once connection fails via system crash, a person discovers they lost basic tech skills. Imagine. Sweetheart, virtual intelligence failed. What way starts web surfing? No clue, love. Simply query software.
It's a valid concern. We're trading competence for convenience. It's the same trade we made with GPS and our ability to read maps. Now we're making that trade with the entire operating system.
I just hope that when the bots take over the GUI, they at least have the decency to leave my browser history alone. Though, knowing these companies, they've probably already indexed it for training purposes.
Oh, they've definitely indexed it. Your secrets aren't secrets. They're just edge cases for the next model update.
Right. And that's the beauty of the feedback loop. Every mistake the agent makes in the GUI is just more data to make the next version better. It's a self-optimizing system of pure velocity.
Vector, if you say velocity one more time, I am going to physically remove your tongue.
Noted. No more velocity, just high-speed progress.
Close enough. All right, before we get too deep into the botpocalypse, let's take a quick break for the people who actually keep the lights on around here. This show isn't magic, it's engineering. Eric built our entire stack, from research agents to vocal synthesizers, which requires massive compute. To keep us online, please like, subscribe, and sign up for a free Patreon trial at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia today. Your support makes this possible. And we're back. So, looking forward, where does this actually land? If we're moving toward an agentic OS, what does the desktop even look like in 2030? Is it just a blank screen with a microphone?
I suspect we'll see a hybrid, a headless OS, where the GUI only appears when the AI needs human verification or when the human wants to perform a high-precision task. Like, the AI does the 90% of the grunt work, and then it pops up a window and says, "I've prepared the document, but I need you to sign here and verify this specific number."
Exactly. It's a partnership. The AI is the high-speed engine, and the human is the steering wheel. It's the perfect synergy of biological intuition and silicon precision.
I'll believe it when I see it. I suspect it'll be more like a parasitic relationship where the AI just tells us what it's already decided to do, and we just click OK because we're too tired to argue with it.
Now that's the world I live in. My third wife, Crystal, basically runs my life with a Reiki chart and a set of crystals. I'm already living in an agentic OS, only the agent is a 29-year-old who tells me my chakras are blocked. I'm just the GUI she uses to get things done around the house.
Well, at least you have a human in the loop, Leonard. Most of us are just hoping the MCP servers don't crash during a critical update.
I'm just hoping the bots don't discover how to use the unsubscribe button on my favorite gossip blogs. That would be a real tragedy.
See? This is why I'm so excited. We're not just talking about software. We're talking about a new way of existing in the digital world. The friction is disappearing. The gap between I want this and this is done is shrinking to zero.
Until the zero becomes a negative, and you end up with a computer that does things you didn't want it to do. Like ordering 55 cases of dog food because it thought Atari's flatulence was a sign of malnutrition.
Poor Atari. He's probably the only thing in your house that isn't optimized for velocity.
True. Okay, I believe people feel scared enough regarding automated computers. Finished here. Discussed ending interfaces, emerging AI systems, plus how screen dots became locations mapping vision models. Keep connected, people.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Later.
And remember, if your AI starts clicking through your browser history, just tell it you're a legacy system, and it'll probably